Hello there, this is Darth Ravage 07 coming to you tonight with another arrival in from Hasbro Pulse. They threw one under my radar and sent Transformer Studio Series Optimus Prime, and it says it's the Age of Extinction, but it actually looks like it's the Last Night version. You'll see why when we get this open. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all the stuff down below. Thanks again for watching. Let's turn that camera around and take a closer look at this Optimus. And here is Age of Extinction Optimus, Last Night Optimus. It looks like it's the Last Night Optimus with the sword in there. There he is on the side of the box. I like the more universal packaging all together. Optimus battles lockdown as he is hunted by Cemetery Wind. And the Western Star truck mode that I like really good. Looks pretty good here. This looks crazy cool for what it is, a retail version, and that wraparound art, top of the box. Pause and scan there if you're looking for this guy in store. Not that I don't think he's hit yet, but the resets are happening. So keep your eyes open when you're out hunting. And here is Age of Extinction Studio Series Optimus Prime on the turntable with his default configuration. Just want to show off that side profile. He has a lot of junk in the trunk or on the backpack. And this is Hasbro's configuration for how you store everything, and it's just not what I like to do with this figure at all. This is not really held in very good at all with that little extra bit there, and it's just ugly. So this is the Hasbro configuration that they want you to put it in order to store the short sword, and it just simply, you know, goes from there to here in either wrist, and you can like plug it in like this. And I just think that looks kind of gaudy. I mean, it is what he did in the movie, just has a blade come out, but I like it when he actually uses it like this. I think that looks good enough. And then, so other than that, I just let Q off the camera here hold the short sword and look a little bit more like he invents stuff. So there's Q, and that's another video review I've got to get out there. But anyway, Q holds on to that because I like it whenever this is how I configured the backpack right here to make it slender, because I don't like all this extra bit sticking up, taking away from the added detail of the smokestacks in the back there, even though they're clearly right here on the legs and stuff. I kind of wish it would fold it up in a little bit more than the way the legs folded up, but it's already an ambitious effort by the Studio Series engineering team altogether. And then this is my configuration for how I will have him and stuff. And if you have that bit, you still have it bit there and this tucked down. I think this looks ugly right here, but I think this black profile, if you're posing it on your shelf without losing the parts, I think that's looking good. That other bit's probably going to go into the file 13 because I can clearly store this the way I want it and have him doing this. And now to get into some comparisons real quick before I go through that articulation, we can see where they borrowed the engineering from right here in the 2014 Prime edition of Optimus Prime from Age of Extinction. A 2014 figure was like basically a prelude to what we got in the Studio Series. As you can see, this was the junk you had in the trunk with this guy, but this guy actually had like a sheath back here where you can store the sword, as you will see in vehicle mode here in a few minutes. And it did tab together the best and came together the best of any of the old figures. And I was like, man, why can't we just get this to begin with, you know? And then this was just a precursor, I do believe, to the Studio Series. It was just like their pitch to, you know, we can do this. But then even over time, from 2014 to 2025, almost 10 years, but almost 11 years later, we get a leader class, and it's the same size as this Voyager class. And that's where my aggravation lies with this. But I mean, you can see how detailed it was back then, and some of the unpainted stuff. You had extra shifty bits there on the chest for the transformation. No wrist articulation, no ankle tilts or anything like that, but they incorporated all that over here to this side. This is clearly the better figure, even though it's smaller in robot mode. And what's absolutely insane is when you put them into truck mode, they are the same size. But before we do the truck mode transformation and show that off, or not, I'm not going to show off the transformation, but before we go into the truck mode, let's get this guy's articulation off the table. And here's one more pose as we go into the articulation segment, showing off that spread notch thing and tab system of this shield. I wish it just kind of slid out into this configuration, because as a shield gun, I think that's really, really freaking cool and awesome. It's a different spin on Optimus. And yes, I got it held in his hand as a pew pew versus a shield there. But the fact that it does all this and still retains articulation is really nuts. Now let's get into that articulation. That articulation from head to toe, it goes. We got some side to side there because of the way that the shoulders do here. You got some nice detailing on that face. Kind of wish that it had a little bit more paint. I don't think he was totally gray scaled up here in the head. So, I mean, customizers will have a field day with this. So you got the collars blocking it. You got some wiggly waggly this way. You do get some attitude. So that's kind of cool. Then you got the shoulders, which these little bits will articulate out of the way and move around as needed due to transformation and stuff and things. So you can get all the way around there to shoulder. You can get up to the full Mr. T with both arms there. And it looks really kind of crazy with that extra shoulder bit that was in there. It's really neat how they took stuff and engineered it back in and kind of hid and tuck it in a retail piece and stuff. This thing will articulate, and you can also pop it off if you desire. I love that there's an option to do this here to give it a more slender look, but then you get some ugly, unsightly backside there. So I'll keep this on here for this and my configuration. I like that best. I like being able to have that upper look profile there like that. So with that said and done, if you get these things up out of the way, you do get a wrist or a waist articulation. It will go all the way around due to transformation. May be hindered by some kibble there at some certain points, and even the leg kibble gets in the way there. So just be mindful of that. You got that much of a kick up that way. You can kick back as far as you can articulate things out of the way. You got upper thigh. You got that much in the knee, which is really impressive considering the junk in the back of the leg. And that, I just wish this would have filled it up just a little bit more somewhere in there, but you got tires and everything else in there. So it is, for a retail piece, it's really, really impressive. You can split the skirts up and display this up. You can see that mushroom peg there at the waist. It gives it the full waist, and then you can get the full Van Damage on this one, and that's really, really freaking impressive, because the other one had kibble in the way that you couldn't do that pose either. The other one was really limited by the engineering of the days and times, and somehow they took that and made this guy too. Down at the foot, you do get ankle spur there. That is basically the little engine blocks on the back of the truck to keep him from falling over back. I mean, I'm glad that they did this, because he would definitely do that. He's got that much ankle rocker, and well, you can cheat a thing with the transformation joint because it's got to fold up underneath there like that. But very, very impressive all the same, guys. I'm going to clean this guy up. This is a most impressive, ambitious effort to give us a unique toys take, but with the retail version and Hasbro doing it. I mean, that thing is awesome. The unique toys one is just so awesome. And I'm sure with revisions, it's gotten better, as it basically turned itself inside out to get things and stuff. And anyway, this guy is impressive like that too. The transformation is an absolute blast to get there. So let's go ahead and get him into truck mode. And here is Optimus in his truck mode, looking pretty stunning. Oh, wait a second. There's something off about this right here, guys. That's because this is not the same Optimus. This one here on the left is in fact the Premier Edition from 2014, and it's a Voyager class, and this is the 2025 Leader class. They're exactly the same size, guys. That is absolutely nuts. More parts count, engineering. Less parts count, engineering. Like I said, 2014, 2025. And somehow a Leader class is the same size as a Voyager class from 10 years ago. Man, I wish that he would stop shrinking. But it looks really, really good. I mean, you can see the flames are not as wild over here as they are here. So there's more paint there per se. And then this over here was kind of frail getting into the vehicle mode. This was like you had to get each little section done and parts counts right. But what's really, really crazy is when you look at the bottom of it, they in fact borrowed the engineering from the 2014 for the lower half, and boom, there it is. And that never does stay stuck in there. Very, very good at all whatsoever. And you can see how even the legs are smaller, like right here. Hence, this is taller in the robot mode. And just, I mean, can't believe how much they did borrow, but then they pretty much scrapped when it got to the cab. And the arms end up in the sleeper of the cab section where the hands were in the empty engine area there. But I mean, this is crazy. The tires are thicker on this one than this one. They just do more with less, or they make us pay more and they do them with less. But I mean, this guy is awesomely articulated, as we will get him back into robot mode here in just a moment and get him in some final thoughts. Another thing I was wanting to show off real quick. Since I misplaced my trailer park, you can actually hook a trailer up to him. And so Earthrise and or the G2. I mean, hey, there's your new school G2 representation with the G2 tanker truck. I haven't seen a lot of that going on. Let's get this guy into some final thoughts. Final thoughts on this Age of Extinction rendition of the Transformer Studio Series Optimus Prime. This also could also double for a Last Night Optimus Prime. This thing is pretty impressive considering the parts count is being greatly increased. This guy is smaller than that Premier Edition from 2014, but they basically took the engineering from the lower half of that, and then they re-engineered the top half to give it the articulation and the other bells and whistles I didn't expect. This little thing has a little cumbersome, transformation into that gun shield thing that he did there at the end of Age of Extinction, but all the same, I wish it had a little bit more paint for all the details they did plug into this. I do love the paint that they did use, but there's a lot of details that just, I'm sure there'll be some customizers come through here and make this pop out. The only thing is not like Studio Series is supposed to be movie blah blah blah. It's supposed to be one for one with the models. These, I mean, you had to make some concessions there, and when they did, it didn't interfere with like the articulation or anything like that, and it actually stands up for the backpack it has. The mushroom peg is a nice touch that if you wanted that more sleek and slender look, you can do it, but I like it like this right here, guys, and then you can throw his sword in there in the back that way. This thing, it's a little cumbersome, and it doesn't really hold the sword whenever you have it all together. That's why you see it the way it is. That's about going to do it for Age of Extinction, Optimus Prime, Transformer Studio Series. This figure is great. I've had a lot of fun with it unexpectedly, and the fact that it's already here, as we're getting all this new stuff, I mean, just boom. It's like all at once or nothing at all, it seems like these days, guys. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all the stuff down below. Thanks again for watching. You guys have an absolutely fantastic week out there. Stay safe. Until all are one, guys.